Okay, welcome back, everyone. We are continuing our daily live while we meditate and transmute and get some really good power downloads from my new book, my new script for being the supreme authority. If you're new here, check back on all the other videos so you can follow along. To everybody else, let's keep going. As promised, I said we'd go more into the book today. So I'm gonna sit back with you and just listen and take on the workshop myself. Again, my suggestion, do what works for you as always, is I like to not only be the person that's teaching this workshop, this script, but also the people that are receiving it, that are remembering this, because it's all you pushed out, right? So you could see it like it's your higher self teaching your 3D self. Or you're being taught whatever feels right and good for you, because at the end of the day, it's that practice of everyone is you pushed out, right? One thing I want to just illustrate before we go in to the teaching, I want us to again come into our body. So just notice where you are, where your awareness is, and bring your breath. A great way to move your awareness is use your breath. Breathe deep into the belly. Breathe deep into the hips. Take a big breath now. Loosen the jaw. Fill up the belly like a balloon. And then as you exhale, let your awareness expand out. Stay in your body. Get into your hips. Get into your body. Let everything be a part of this. And then expand it out. And remind yourself, this is all my imagination. This is all my consciousness. I can never say it. Consciousness pushed out. Do another big breath in and out. And as we receive these teachings and come into our power, no matter what is coming up or out, it's the past. It's bringing you into your wish fulfilled. There's no other option. We don't play with options. So if you were just crying like I was before this, if you were angry, if you were in apathy, if you were confused, if you were questioning, whatever state you were just in and whatever one your I am is moving into now, I want you to remember it's all power. It's all the unfolding. It's all part of your bridge. Nothing has gone wrong. And so much of our power comes from being able to reclaim everything that's happening is me. Everything I'm feeling, everything that's going on, it's all me. It's all changeable. It's all malleable. But it's all part of my bridge. It's all part of the unfolding. Nothing is going wrong. So we are reclaiming our power and releasing or transmuting the self-judgment, the self-shame, the authority of others, and saying, nope, it's all me, it's all right, it's all done. I don't play with options. All right, let's go into the teaching.
The room is buzzing with a palpable energy, a mix of curiosity, fear, and anticipation. These high-profile celebrities, titans of their industries, have come to you with one purpose: to learn how to fully own their reality, to step into the power you've already mastered. They're here because they've heard about you, how you command the world around you, how you've become the embodiment of supreme power and dominion. And now they want that for themselves. They want to strip away the past conditioning that's been holding them back and step into the truth of their own authority. Midday. You stand at the front of the room, your presence filling the space like a storm rolling in from the horizon. Every eye is on you, every mind hungry for the knowledge you're about to impart. You can see the questions, the doubts, the fears flickering in their eyes, and you know exactly what needs to be addressed. Let's talk about the past. You begin, your voice smooth and commanding like velvet covering a steel blade. You've all got it. Those old stories, those old beliefs, those old patterns that keep you stuck. that keep you from fully stepping into your power. You've been conditioned to think a certain way, to believe certain things about yourself and your world. And it's those beliefs, those old stories that are keeping you from owning what's rightfully yours. You let your gaze sweep over them, making sure each one of them feels seen, feels understood. They're nodding, leaning in, ready to listen, ready to learn, addressing the fear of the past. You turn to one of the clients, a famous musician who struggled with the weight of past mistakes, who's afraid that no matter how successful he becomes, his past will always haunt him, will always drag him back down. You're afraid that your past is going to catch up with you, you say, your voice low and steady, cutting through the noise in his mind. That no matter how far you've come, those old stories, those old patterns are going to pull you back. But here's the truth. The past has no power over. Inner Conversation LLC 2025-33, you. The only power it has is the power you give it. You are the creator of your reality, and that means you get to decide what's true, what's real, and what's not. You step closer, your eyes locking onto his with that intense, unblinking gaze that makes him feel like you're seeing straight into his soul. You've been conditioned to believe that your past defines you, that it's something you can't escape. But that's a lie. The past is nothing more than a story, and stories can be rewritten. You're not bound by it. You're not defined by it. You are who you decide to be, and that decision is made right here, right now. He nods slowly, starting to see the truth in your words, starting to understand that the past is nothing more than a shadow, a ghost that only has power if he lets it. You're afraid that no matter what you do, you'll never escape those old patterns, those old mistakes. But let me tell you something, you already have. The moment you decide that you're done with the past, that it no longer has any hold on you, you're free. You're free to create, free to command, free to live in the present where you have all the power. The past doesn't matter, it's gone. What matters is what you're creating right now in this moment. Confronting the fear of losing control, you turn to another client, a famous actor who's afraid that if he fully steps into his power, he'll lose control, that the very thing he's been striving for, that ultimate authority, will somehow slip through his fingers. You're afraid of losing control, you say, your voice soft but firm, like a velvet glove with iron inside. You think that if you reach for too much, if you demand too much, the universe is going to push back, that you'll lose everything you've worked for. But that's not how the law of assumption works. The only way you lose control is if you believe you can, and that belief is a lie. It's old conditioning telling you that you're not really in charge, that you're not really the one who gets to decide, but you are. You always have been. You take a step closer, your presence dominating the room, making it clear that you're the one in control, that you're the one who holds the power. Control isn't something that's given to. Inner Conversation LLC 2025-34. It's something you take, it's something you claim, and once you've claimed it, no one, nothing can take it from you. The moment you decide that you're in control, that you're the boss, the world has no choice but to obey, because you're not just another player in the game, you're the one who makes the rules. He looks at you, his fear beginning to melt away, replaced by a new understanding, a new certainty. You don't lose control by stepping into your power. You continue. Your voice a seductive purr that wraps around him like a warm embrace. You gain it. You solidify it. The more you demand, the more you command, the stronger your control becomes. The only way to lose control is to give it up, to hand it over to your fears, to your doubts. But you're done with that. You're done with options, done with conditioning. You are the power, and the power never wavers. Dealing with the fear of others' reactions, you turn to the group as a whole, your eyes sweeping over them, your voice rising to meet the intensity of the moment. let's talk about one of the biggest fears that keeps you from owning your power. The fear of what others will think, of how they'll react when you start commanding your reality, when you start demanding what you deserve. You see the recognition in their eyes, the way they've all struggled with this fear, the fear of being judged, of being rejected, of not being liked. You've been conditioned to believe that you need others' approval, that you need them to like you, to accept you. But that's bullshit. That's not how the law works. Everyone is you pushed out, and that means they're just reflecting your own thoughts, your own beliefs. The moment you start worrying about what they think, you're giving them power, you're giving them control, but you're the boss. You're the one in charge. And if you decide that they love you, that they adore you, that they respect you, they have no choice but to do exactly that. You pause, letting your words sink in, letting them feel the truth of what you're saying. Inner Conversation, LLC, 2025, 35. You're afraid that if you start demanding more, if you start being the boss, they'll push back, they'll fight you. That's not how it works. They're your children, your reflections. And just like a mother knows what's best for her child, you know what's best for them. They might resist at first, they might push back, but in the end, they'll follow, they'll obey because they're you. And you've decided that what you want is what's best for everyone, embracing supreme power and dominion. You turn to face the group fully now, your eyes blazing with that wild, untamed fire that's become your signature. You're not here to play small. You're not here to condition your desires, to give yourself options, to leave room for doubt. You're here to own your world, to claim your reality, to step into the full, supreme power that's been yours all along. You're the boss, the dominatrix, the one who commands, the one who decides. And when you make that decision, the world has no choice but to follow. You see the transformation happening, the way they're shedding their old conditioning, their old fears, and stepping into the truth of their power. You've been holding back, afraid of being too much, afraid of demanding too much, afraid of stepping into your full authority, but that's not who you are. You're the one who leads, the one who commands, the one who knows what's best for your world. And when you own that, when you claim that, the world doesn't just follow, they worship, they adore, they bow down because they know that you, the one in charge, the one who holds the power. Sexy, commanding mantras for supreme power. You give them one final mantra, something to burn into their minds, to repeat until it becomes the very fabric of their being. Here's what I want you to remember. I am the supreme power. I am the dominion. Everyone is my reflection, and they follow my lead, worship my authority, and obey my command.
So this was a little bit similar to the last chapter. I do that in my scripts. I will repeat things with like some changes because just like you, right, I'm reminding myself, I'm giving myself different iterations of my scripts or ways of looking at what it is to be the supreme authority of our world. And what I've found, since writing this especially, and really focusing on being the supreme like authority and power and being the boss of my world is, there was a ton of pushback, right? And you want to redefine it. Okay. It looked like a ton of pushback from, again, especially for me, like the systems I grew up with, where like I was taught a lot of powerlessness and things like that. So from those people in particular, where I had essentially been trained to give up my authority to them over and over, they were the first ones to kind of rise up and question me and question, seeming like trivial things. And of course, at first I was reacting back. I was going back with the old story. I was telling the story again. And it was like the story from, when I was 5, 7, 12, 13, 18, 25, 35. And it's so convincing, right? Because it's a story that we've been telling ourselves, especially before we know the law. And that's where we want to have patience and all accepting love with ourselves, and then remind ourselves where we can, like, go back to this, whatever your process is. And it's like, it's just the old on the way out. That's where we want to do our best to get to a place of indifference, back to that 0 point energy, back into our body. Hear what we need to hear from them on the inside. You might not hear it on the outside. We're just looking for that release of tension. So the nervous system, different parts of our body can finally release the old patterns and welcome in the new, where, you're unquestioned, where you're respected, where you're loved. So I'd love to know in the comments if you're doing this, if things are popping up. What's popping up? What's coming up? How are you reclaiming your authority? What questions do you have? And I'm happy to answer that in future lives. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow for more.